Assalamu alaikum everyone. I've got a really great question for you guys today that was sent by one of our viewers. I do not have the courage nor confidence in public speaking, but it's a very important part of my work. However, I keep feeling like everyone is judging me. I can relate to this question because I kind of do public speaking, but I never started my career with public speaking. As a matter of fact, the first time I was told to speak publicly, I was so nervous. I took 4 pages of notes and I stapled them together, typed all my notes up, and I got up there. They told me to give a khutbah. I got up there to give the khutbah and my hands started shaking and the paper looked like this. And I kid you not, the words on the page turned into insects and crawled away from the page. And after the khutbah was done, you know, when the prayer is over, the people come to the imam and they say, Assalamu alaikum, Jazakallahu khairan, thank you for the khutbah, thank you for the sermon. People came like it's a janazah, like they came to condole me, like it's okay next time, it's okay. So I can relate to the fact that you get nervous when you speak publicly. I used to be there myself, okay? You might not think that now, but yes, I used to be there myself. It's been a long time since I felt nervous speaking publicly, but I will say some things about that. When you're going to speak, then the wrong thing to focus on is the judgment of people. Because it's not even about public speaking, it's about your own thought process. It's a deeper issue. I want to go to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you care too much about what people think. You care too much about what? What people think, what other people think. What they think does not matter. What matters is that you have something important to say. If you have something important to say, that's the only thing you're thinking about, is that you have something to share that has some value, that has some meaning, that has some purpose. You're not thinking, is this person looking at this is not my good side. They probably think my nose is too long. Or is this person looking at my shoes? Or is this person looking at the fact that I'm sweating? Oh my God, am I shaking in my voice? Oh, am I standing the right way? Why is this person looking at me like that? Why is that one laughing? Why is that one not looking? Why is that one sleeping? You don't care anymore because you have something important to say. It didn't matter who's doing what. If in life you spend your life worried about other people's opinion, then it will affect your public speaking too. But if in life you understand that you live the way you're supposed to live, and you don't let anybody else dictate your thoughts, your emotions, your expression, your lifestyle. You do what you know is right, not because of other people's opinion, you'll be liberated. That's one piece of this puzzle, and that is that you're too concerned about the judgment or the opinion of other people. If I really was good at what I have to say, or if I really know what I'm talking about, the only thing I'm on my mind is what am I going to say, not what are people going to think. The only concern I should have is what is it that is going to be understood from my speech. In other words, I can say the same exact thing. You can have the same exact message, but the way you talk to kindergartners is not the same as the way you talk to 10-year-old kids. And the way you talk to 10-year-olds is not the same as you talk to 15-year-olds. And the way you talk to 15-year-olds is not the same as when you talk to 35-year-olds. And when you talk to 35-year-olds, that may not be the same as when you talk to senior citizens. Every audience is different. You have to think about who are you talking to? What do they relate to? How can I speak in a way that they best understand me? I don't care about their opinion, but I do care that what I say is understood properly. So my thoughts are well organized. I've actually considered which examples am I going to give that may be easy for them to understand, easy for them to remember. These are the only things you're focused on or worried about that you're going to try to, put together in your speech. Now, one more piece of this puzzle about nervousness. After that janazah experience that I told you, I gave a khutbah and people got super nervous. Then after that experience, I went back to my teacher and I told him what happened. And I said, I'm never going to give a khutbah again. And he said, don't worry about it. The problem is that you studied or you learned so that you can teach. But you should teach so that you learn. I'll say that again, it sounds crazy. I was learning so that I can speak. No, that's wrong. I should have been speaking so that I can learn. In other words, I want to learn more and more and more, but I get lazy. So I'm going to put myself responsible for speaking about this, and now I have to learn it. And the only reason I put the speaking responsibility is it's going to force me to learn it so well that I can teach it to somebody else. That's how good I should know it. Which is why, other than these questions, I don't usually have notes when I speak, because I've thought about what I have to say, I'm clear about what I have to share, so I just share it. The more notes I need, that means I'm not as prepared. The other thing I'll say about this is my favorite dua. That's what my teacher taught me, and I want to share that with you because it's a gift that he gave me that really helped me in my public speaking. قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Musa alayhi salam, when he gave his speech, before he could go and speak to the Pharaoh, which is supposed to be a very intimidating conversation, Musa is supposed to be able to now, he's going to challenge the greatest politician in the world in his own court. That's not an easy thing to do. And he has to say offensive things to him too. So in Surah Taha, he asked Allah for the ability to speak effectively. And what was his dua? And some people say, just make this dua and you'll be fine. So you just, before you go and give your public speech, or you give your presentation, or your PowerPoint, you say, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِنْ لِسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. I'm good. No. Think about what he said. Number one, رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Master, expand my chest for me. Make me calm. Get rid of my anxiety. Learn to take deep breaths before you're going to speak. Learn to not worry about anything. Relax. Be very relaxed. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي. Master, relax me. Calm me down. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. And you make my task, my job, easy for me. Allah, make my job easy for me. Once you accept, I accept the job is hard. And the only one who can make it easy is Allah. So I'm going to ask Allah, Ya Allah, you make my job easy for me, because I know for a fact this job is hard. وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي. Then he says, وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي. My favorite part. And untie the knot that is wrapping up my tongue. My tongue is in a knot. Open it up. Now the thing with Musa alayhi salam is it's famously narrated that he used to have a stutter. Stutter means when someone says house, they say house, like that. And if they get nervous or they're not relaxed, then their stutter gets even worse. And it sounds like their tongue is literally tied. So he said, Ya Allah, untie the knot in my tongue. But actually this phrase means more. This phrase, حَلَّ عُقْدَةَ لِسَانِهِ in Arabic, actually means, it's an image. Like, you know, like if you have shoelaces or you have lots of cables and they're all jumbled together, you don't know where the cable begins and where the cable ends. You don't know where the shoelace begins and where the shoelace ends. And you don't know how long it is. You don't know. And you don't even know if it's two of them. Until you undo them, oh, it's two of them, it's not one of them. The idea is speech can become like that. When you get nervous or you don't know what you're talking about, you start talking about one thing, then you start talking about something else, and then something else, and then something else, and your speech is all over the place, and people that are listening to you are going. And by the end of it, they're like, what did he talk about? What did he say? There's no clarity in the speech. I don't understand. When he says, وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي, he's not just saying I should pronounce words properly, he's saying my speech should be clear like a straight line, meaning people can tell where it began, how it progressed, what arguments did I make, and what conclusion did I reach. I should be clear about that. This is وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِسَانِي. But why should you give me clarity? The last part is what I shared with you in the middle of this short talk with you. يَفْقَهُ قَوْلِي. So they can understand what I'm saying. They can understand. Your speech, every word you use, the focus of it is how can they understand. Speech is not about you. You're not speaking to impress anyone. You're only speaking so that your words are understood, which means you have to understand your audience. You have to understand how to relate to them. You have to give easy examples. You have to talk about things that people can say, oh yeah, I get that. That's pretty easy. You're not there to use big words because people themselves don't know big words. If you had to look it up in a dictionary and then use it, nobody's going to understand anyway. You don't have to have some fancy PowerPoint presentation with 57 lines, bullet number 1, bullet number 2, bullet number 3. No. The more you write on your screen, the more people will. That's what's going to happen. When you learn to speak from your heart, genuinely, and you know what you're talking about, then you don't need a presentation, you don't need a PowerPoint, you don't need a visual aid, you don't need any of that stuff. You need yourself. You need to present yourself. And if you know what you're talking about, it will connect with people. There's an ancient Arabic saying, مَا يَخْرُجُ مِنَ الْقَلْبِ يَصِلُ إِلَى الْقَلْبِ. What comes out of the heart goes into the heart. One last thing I'll share with you about public speaking in particular. It's a personal story. When I was much younger, I was asked to give a public talk, and my teacher told me the secret that I didn't know. When you are speaking publicly, you think that you're the one afraid because everybody's judging you. But the reality is, everybody else is afraid, and they think you're judging them. When I'm standing in front of a crowd of 3,000 people, if I look at someone carefully, you know what happens to them? Why is he looking at me? If I just point like that, is he pointing at me? They get scared. As a matter of fact, when you're speaking publicly, you're in charge, not them. You're in charge. And never become someone else when you speak publicly. Be yourself. Once you put the mic on, you don't have to change your voice. You don't have to become someone else. Like normally you're like, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, how are you? Everything's okay? Okay, hold on. Alhamdulillah. نحمده ونستعينه. Chill out. Because if you can speak in a way that everybody can relate to, like one person can relate to, then a million people can relate to it. Be your natural self. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.